Welcome to Kehilat Mussar. Don't mind me waving in front of my face as there is a fly in my home office. I hope that you're all well. I am Rabbah Chasya Uriel Steinbauer. I'm going to share a little bit of my own personal practice today and why I selected Mussar, in hopes that it will inspire you to join our community and our practice. Because I do think that Mussar as a spiritual discipline really makes the world a better place when practiced as a daily discipline. I shared with you earlier that Tammuz and Av are really tough months for me. Obviously, it's not the case for everyone, especially if it's not humid and hot out. But it feels like we always say Mar Heshvan, but it's Mar Tammuz. But in particular, yesterday was my Abba's birthday, and Zikrono Livracha, he is passed away now for 3 years, and very hard for me. I haven't recovered and probably won't. I just have to learn to live a different way. But he visited me the night before his birthday. I was sleeping and woke up in the middle of the night, and there he was. And we were sharing time together, basically the last place that we shared time together. And he reminded me that it was his life and his choice to die when he died, and that it wasn't mine. And that was hard. And it was hard because of a certain midah that we call anava, of humility. Humility from a Mussar perspective is how much space that you take up, and the proper amount of space based on who you are. So it should be balanced, and you take up the proper amount of space in the proper situation for who you are. An example of this is that I can't tell my father how to live his life or how to die, and that's something that works with self-acceptance. So how does this relate to what's going on with Av and the difficulty in this difficult time period? If we look back at our Parsha this past week, Maseh, here in Israel, which will be actually read in other places in the world, particularly Chutz La'aretz in the United States, coming up on Shabbat. The commentators are really taken with what is the point of listing all these places in the journey. And some have the perspective that it's a reminder of the negative things that happened, the things that Bnei Israel, the children of Israel, did against God, not listening to God, not trusting God, not following the commandments. Rashi takes the other extreme example, that it's really almost a love letter, a reminder of all the places in which at each journey and stop that Hashem, that God maintained the children of Israel, that gave them manna to eat, meat to eat, and water when they needed it. And some even have, I think it was one of the commentators took more of a balanced view, that it's both. But what struck me this year, and I don't know why it didn't strike me any of the other years, was how much the children of Israel trusted God. And what do I mean by that? For 40 years, they followed the pillar of fire, and they followed the cloud covering the sun. And when it went up and told them that it was time to move and break down camp and walk, they did. And then when that sign told them it was time to set up camp and stay, no matter how long, they did. If we really look at that, the majority of the children of Israel followed God deeply and trusted. And that hit me. It hit me very strongly this year. Why do I tell you this? Because it's all about community. And in my own practice of looking at humility and realizing my place in it, we have to practice daily, and we have to support one another and be there. We are coming up on Tisha B'Av and commemorating the fall of the temples and other terrible things that happened in our people's history, in the Jewish people's history. And really, Mussar is about taking stock of really looking at in our Heshbon HaNefesh, in our journal, how we treated ourselves and others and our relationship with God, and looking at where do we have work. I leave you with this video today, and each day of Av that I'm able to record, to share with you a bit of myself as the founder and guiding teacher, the spiritual director of Kehilat Mussar, and to welcome you and to welcome your comments. So please take the time after watching this video. Tell me what you think. Tell me which soul trait or midah do you think is unbalanced in you and where you need help and practice. What struck you about the Parsha Ma'aseh if you're learning it this week or you learned it last week? What speaks to you about the children of Israel and their trust of God or not? And what that has to speak about community and Kehillah during hard times. How are you preparing for Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av? How will we come together? I will do this daily to lead us up to Elul, where we will enter a very intimate practice together of the 40 days before Yom Kippur. Classic practice, often in the Sephardic community, but in others as well. So I thank you for joining me and us today. And I look forward to your comments and learning from you and you sharing your wisdom with us. Take care.